was fast. Got my first comment up before the thing's even registering anyone in here. Oh, Kathy. Yeah, you're definitely the first. Yeah, there you go. You just registered here. Computer's a little slow today, I guess. There we go. Starting to get a couple people in here now. How's everyone doing today? Kitty treat time. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Look, he's even going that round there, sniffing around the dish here. Now he's found the brush. That's what he's after right now. Yeah, it cooled off a little bit here today. We were supposed to get some rain last night. I don't think it actually rained much, if at all. Hi, Chris in Seattle. Hi, Elena. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, 1,000 dead in England. That's scary. We're kind of pushing that number here, I think, too. But we're going to get past this. It's going to be tough for a little while, but it's already winding down in China here. They've already lifted the quarantine in the hot spots in China, so it'll wind down here too. We just gotta muscle our way through it for the next whatever. I'm glad you enjoyed the vlog yesterday. Yeah, they're they're I just feel it's kind of the good thing to do right now. Try and just keep people's minds off of it because it's scary, and nobody wants that happening. And we just kind of need to keep ourselves distracted for until this is over. Yeah, Jordan's live stream was actually pretty good yesterday. I actually stayed around for a good part of it. For some reason on me, a couple times it locked up. It just stopped updating comments, and so I'd have to restart it. Yeah, Seattle was sort of the kind of the epicenter of it at the beginning here in the United States. So it doesn't surprise me that Washington State especially has really been pounded by it. Oh, you saw the sorry about that. Yeah, so you saw the rerun, and saw that I was on. Yeah, I just noticed that he was on, and he was on with Amy. So yeah, that was a good one. Jordan couldn't keep up with the comments on the live stream either. They kept saying that they're coming by too fast. I think that's maybe the problem you run into when you have hundreds and hundreds of people doing the live streams is if everyone's commenting, the comments are scrolling by so fast you can't see them. There are some advantages to having only 30 viewers. Of course, there was that one guy that kept just posting the same question over and over and over and over and over again. That was kind of annoying too. You know what? The subscribers have really been going up a lot lately, so I am not unhappy at all with the subscribers that I have. A couple of those JFK videos have been getting just enormous amounts of hits lately, and I'm getting subscribers from those left and right. You know, you remember about a week ago I hit 3,000 subscribers. Well, 8 days later today I hit 3,100. So, you know, that was pretty cool. I'm kind of happy with how things are going there. And of course, my watch time is really high right now because I'm doing these daily live streams, and that's keeping things going too. Well, I mean, I know some people kind of do that where, you know, they think that, well, he's not seeing my question, so I'm going to type the same question over and over and over again. But it was getting a little annoying. And, you know, the fact that the person would keep asking the question even after they answered it, you know, was kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm what, day 11 or whatever into my quarantine. Still no symptoms. I'm feeling fine. Right, Bite? You feeling fine? Huh? Yeah, Amy and Jordan seem to be a good mix. No, I'm not. I don't really have a cold. I sometimes sometimes a little congested in the mornings, and it takes me a little while to kind of blow all that stuff out. Yeah, I kind of hear you. Sometimes when you're not working or not doing anything on a regular basis, it's kind of um, hard to keep track of when it is, what day of the week it is, and stuff like that. I know when I wasn't working there for a while, I had the same problem. Yeah, yeah. Flash is hanging out with Beth right now. You know, now that my parents sold their house, and so Flash had to go somewhere, and Flash. Well, I'm not ready to have her come here because there's still no place for her to be. So, what's on my shirt? That's my Daniel Johnston T-shirt. If you recall, when Jordan was in Texas a couple of months ago, we went and visited Daniel Johnston's hometown in Austin and saw a mural on the wall that it was Daniel Johnston art. How's my mom? My mom's doing good. I talked to her on the phone yesterday. She continues to be locked in her apartment, but I think they're starting to get the food situation a little bit more under control. She still gets to the point where what they do is they bring two meals to her. She said, and they say, "Do you want this one or do you want that one?" And she gets to pick, but sometimes she just decides that, yeah, I'm not really into either of those, and so then she'll eat something out of the refrigerator. And I was a little concerned that, you know, because she can't get out of her apartment, that it might be an issue for her getting food into the apartment. So you know, I asked her about that, and she said, "Yeah, no, Beatrice, her like healthcare provider, uh, has been going to the grocery store and bringing her stuff. So they've apparently completely locked down that apartment that my mom lives in, and now apparently they've got a tent out in the front yard or in front of the building. And if you need to bring something in, you bring it into the tent, then leave the tent, and then they come and get it and deliver it to them. It's yeah, they're getting crazy. Is she bored yet? Well, she's reading a lot. I'm glad to say she's turned off the TV a lot. She said it was just getting to the point where it was just coronavirus this and coronavirus that, and she just eventually decided to just give up on it. and turn it off. And she's just been reading a lot lately, talking to people on the phone. So she's doing fine. She's kind of holding her own. Do the clocks go forward in the U.S. tonight? No, they went forward for us a few weeks ago. So we've been on daylight savings time, yeah, for I don't know, a few weeks. I see Bite's been patiently waiting his turn, and Nibble's kind of doing her thing too. She's wandering around saying, "Okay, man, you're talking to yourself again. Where are the kitty treats?" Oops, you knocked it out of my hand. Yeah, she's even getting to the point where she's lunging a little. Okay, that's it for now. Just because I want to keep you down here. Otherwise, you'll go upstairs and sleep it off. Sleep off your kitty treat coma. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just it seems to both of us that they're getting a little out of hand with some of the safety precautions they're taking. But whatever, that's I guess a lot of senior places are doing that too. So you know, we're all kind of overreacting. So you had to turn off the news and just clean your apartment and knit. Yeah, that's the best thing you can do because it's going to wind up when it winds up, and that's all there is. And ourselves making ourselves crazy over it isn't going to fix anything. Sorry, I don't have the virus. I'm just a little congested in the morning. It's funny when Bite sticks his head in the jar, huh? Yeah, yeah, that's just him. He's sticking his head in there. No, I'm not sick. I just, like I said, I'm a little congested sometimes in the morning. Takes me a little while to blow it all out. Yeah, you can watch old movies on TV. There's a lot of good stuff. The problem is my mom doesn't go and watch TV shows. She'll watch the news, and when she watches the news, then that's it's one subject right now, and it gets old. And what ends up happening is since it's 24/7 coverage by the media, even if they don't have anything to talk about, they just keep repeating the same things over and over again. So you watch it for 20, 30 minutes and you know everything you're going to know because then they're just going to start over again. And at that point, you're just wasting time. You got 3 months worth of emails to get through. Yeah, well, got 3 months of videos to watch too. So plenty of stuff for you to do. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Stephanie. How are we doing? Keeping ourselves occupied these days. Yeah, that's sort of what I've been doing too. I mean, a lot of what I've been doing during the day is, the vlogging and the live stream. So that takes up most of the day. But in the evening, then I've been watching movies and stuff like that. And it's just a good way to pass the time. So even he's being cleanly right now, cleanly, being cleanliness right now because he's washing his hands. I don't think you're supposed to do it like that, though. That's probably not the best way to prevent the disease from being spread. Do I have anything more planned, like the JFK videos? Yeah. I'm gonna hit the Branch Davidian compound here sometime. I was thinking I might do it this week, before I go back to work. But truth is, doing 2 live streams a day, it doesn't really leave a whole lot of time for that. So it'll probably be on one of my weekends once I get back to work. Yeah, well, that's it. The people in the senior homes are the ones who are most at risk right now. So, I guess I sort of respect that they're being cautious, but there are limits to what we can do. What we should do. Got your crocheting caught up. Now you're getting caught up with your knitting. Now is not the time to get another dog. Okay. I don't know. It's always time to get another dog, right? You'd like to have a dog around here, wouldn't you? Remember how much you enjoyed Jaw? Not. You're doing a lot of cleaning and crocheting. That's a good way to get things done, I guess. Yeah, now's the time to just watch stuff on TV. I hear you on that. Yeah, I've been doing some research on the David Koresh thing. I want to kind of get all my ducks in a row and get all the pictures and video and stuff like that I want to put into mine so that I do a good job of it. Because there really isn't a whole lot there anymore, but the Branch Davidians actually still occupy the place. Do I do any do I do any crafting? Well, I mean, I do some woodwork, but I haven't been doing that lately just because I don't have a garage or a house or any of that stuff. Yeah, Bill. About 20 years or so ago now, um, there was a story about a religious sect called the Branch Davidians that had a compound in Waco, and well, just outside of Waco, and apparently there was some rumors that there were guns in the place, and the FBI and a bunch of other government agencies basically uh, surrounded the place, and there was a standoff that went for like 2 months or something like that, and eventually something happened and a fire started and it burned the whole place to the ground, and a lot of people, including women and children, died in the incident. And they called it the Waco tragedy. It was one of the couple things that I knew about Waco before I even got here, because I remember when that was happening. That was back in what, 96, 97, something like that. And basically, the only thing that's left of the compound now was a swimming pool that's still there. I guess I've looked at the area on like satellite maps, but I haven't been there yet. Oh yeah, it was all over the news. It was as big a story as the virus is now. People just couldn't, it was 24/7 coverage of it because it was big story. In fact, I honestly thought it was in Waco when it happened, and it turned out it's actually way outside of Waco. It's just, it's like if you're 20 miles away from Los Angeles and something happens, they still might call it Los Angeles, even though you're not in Los Angeles itself. This was just kind of way out on the east side of Waco, away from town about 20 miles, and everyone just called it the Waco siege or the Waco tragedy. Yeah, yeah, they think that's what happened is that they were pumping tear gas into the building, and then something ignited the tear gas, and that started the fire. I don't know. I got to do some more research on it because it's been a long time since I looked, really did anything with it except for a little bit of reading I've done in recent days. Hi Jeff, how you doing? Hi VNA, how are you? Yeah, I remember the OJ chase too. I watched that on TV very early on in his trip. He went right by my house. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go and see what's out there when I get there. Yeah, it seems to be a lot of what's going on right now is a lot of people are just doing cleaning. What I've read about it is that there's like a gate in the front, and if the gate's open, you're welcome to come in. And from my understanding, most of the time the gate is open. It's close by enough though that, yeah, if I go out there one day and it's not open, we'll go back. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because she just walked right by there. There she is, right there. Because right when you said that, she kind of went by. Took this down a little bit so you can get her in the shot. Okay, that's it for now. Got to wait a little bit more now. Come up and be part of the live stream a little bit if you want. Yeah, I figured Tom Hanks would be fine. Cats love it when I go live. Ain't that the truth? They're both down here now when I do that. Thank you, Jeff Kid. Appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Get you guys some more kitty treats. We've been going through the kitty treats a lot lately, haven't we? That's probably why their food dish is never empty. They're filling up on kitty treats. I don't think I've ever seen a cat pant. I think Tom Hanks came back to America before he was diagnosed. He'd been in Australia or something like that. I think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's funny. I had an alert on my phone saying severe weather in the next 24 hours as of 7 a.m. this morning, and I was looking at the radar, and I see maybe rain tomorrow night, but I don't definitely see anything that looks like anything's happening now or in the next 24 hours. Kind of plain and boring here right now. there is a little weather pattern going through here, but it's already past us. So yeah, I don't know what they were talking about. We didn't get any rain, or if we did get any rain, it wasn't much. Whatever. Sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes the weather guys just don't know what's going on. Bone dry in Florida, huh? Got to make bacon and eggs for breakfast. That sounds good. I just had an English muffin with some peanut butter on it. That was my breakfast. I got to sometimes force myself to eat in the morning, or else, I get to like 3 in the afternoon and it's like, oh man, I haven't eaten yet, and I'm hungry. But if I eat now, then there won't be, then I won't be hungry for dinner. So I do see that we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, or tomorrow night. Sounds like the birds are doing their thing outside. I don't know if you can hear all that. Yeah, there was a little storm that blew through here, but like I said, I don't think it dropped any rain. I've got some buckets that I keep out in the backyard to collect rainwater, and while there was like a little bit of water in the bottom of it, it wasn't enough to have been raining very much, and the ground wasn't wet when I got up, and so whatever it was, it just kind of blew through, I think. What's my favorite band? It depends on what I'm in the mood for. I mean, obviously, Guided by Voices is pretty high on the list. But hey, Neville, how are you? She comes up with these big sad eyes and thinks she'll get more kitty treats. She's probably right. But it depends on what I'm in the mood for. I'll listen to a wide variety of stuff. Just depends on what I'm in the mood for. Pink Floyd sometimes. Beatles sometimes. I like the Pixies. I like. Uh, the grunge movement, Nirvana, Soundgarden. I saw people on Jordan's live stream yesterday were kept mentioning Mudhoney. I like Mudhoney. They were a good band out of Seattle during that period. Yeah, that question came up yesterday too. First concert I attended was Oingo Boingo. And that was probably what, 83 or something like that. And I saw them a bunch of times when they were playing and when they were big. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It's fun when Jordan and I get on each other's live streams because we kind of like to mix things up a little bit and kind of throw the other one for a loop. I love it when Jordan comes on my live streams because he'll like ask something that's just completely out of the blue and out of left field. You never know what's going to come with him, so I kind of like to return the favor a little bit. Hey, Angela's here. How you doing, Angela? Yeah, Oingo Boingo would come into town every year for Halloween in Orange County, and they'd play like Irvine Meadows, and I'd go see them every year for their Dead Man's Party. Yeah, Jordan and I think, enjoy each other. So we got you to 170 yesterday, Angela. Has it gone up since then? Or are you still just at 170? Because you gotta go check out her vlog. You know, it's she does some good stuff. 171. All right. Well, we wanted to get you 170, so that's good. You know, we just got to keep growing. I'm not sure why your channel, isn't growing like it should. We should be able to get you more. Yeah, no, I just got to blow it all out. This is just part of the mornings for me. I don't know if I'm going to go back to silo screams this year or not. It's going to depend on, what my work schedule looks like. Because right now my work days are usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every other Wednesday. Well, Friday and Saturdays are the days that they do the most of that. So, you never know. See, yeah, we got another alert from the phone here. What's this? Oh, that was an email. Some guided by voices stuff here. Is there selling a bunch of merch here? So I got an email about that today. Yeah, I never really got into country music. It's fine. It's one of those things. I hear a lot of it here now. You didn't hear much of it in California, but I hear it like, you go into the grocery store, you go into Home Depot or someplace like that, and you hear it being piped in now. It's a lot more common here, and I guess I expected that. But how many times did I hit my head in the Winchester house? Not many, but when you're tall like I am, you kind of learn to watch out for things like that. And if you do hit it, over time you build up some real good calluses on your head, so you don't even feel it. I probably could go bike riding without a helmet because I've got enough padding up there right now that I'm almost indestructible. You saw Elvis in concert in 2957. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know time travel was possible. Yeah, I know what you meant. I just thought that was funny. Elvis had a concert booked there, but then he died. Yeah, well, that happens. Like big band music, Barry White and Mel Torme. Okay, that's cool. Barry White has his moments. You could get pet too, Nibbles, if he came up here and we're friendly and wanted to be sociable. Yeah, Jordan and I are about the same height. We're both big, tall guys. That's something that I think every time we've met somebody, or at least when I've been there, when Jordan's met somebody that recognized him, that's the first thing they say is, "Oh wow, I didn't realize you're so tall." Now I don't remember where I was when Elvis died, but I was in the ninth grade, I think, in that point. So I didn't really follow him that much. I was aware of who he was, but Didn't really follow them. So yeah, I remember where it was when the Challenger blew up. I was in school then. He was only 42. Wow, I didn't know that. I thought he was older than that. Those were some city miles, weren't they? Hey, Nibble, how you doing down there? Peeking her head out here. Yeah, we're the conversations are all over the place. Basically, whatever you want to talk about, I'll talk about, and that's what we're here. Hey, Nibble, got anything to say? That was my finger again, bite. Such a sad look on their face when they put the lid back on the jar. 5 foot 2 inches. Yeah. You'd need some real big, tall platform shoes to stand next to me. Yeah. How tall is everyone else? Yeah. 5 foot. Okay, yeah. That's one of the things that YouTube doesn't tell you. They'll tell you age, they'll tell you gender, they'll tell you where you came in. How you found the channel. Whether you're a subscriber, stuff like that. They don't tell me how tall you are for some reason. Who knows? Maybe I'm missing some obvious market here because this channel is uniquely entertaining to a specific height range of people. And if they told me that, maybe I could make my channel better. 5'7". How tall are you? Blonde. Love it. Best answer of the day. In my peak, I was about 6'4", but in my old age, I'm starting to shrink a little. Sometimes when I wear my work boots, it gets me back up to 6'4" again. I was wearing my work boots when I was playing Freddy Krueger at the Silo Screams. That kind of made the thing. Probably lied about your age. Yeah, well, Jordan's mom kind of does that too. She's younger than Jordan is, if you ask her. No, no, I got my height from my mom's side of the family. My mom's mom had a brother who was tall like me, and so and his son was tall, and his son was tall, and I got it. Yeah, I mean there's good things and there's bad things about being tall. The good things are, it's great at concerts. Nobody likes to be behind you in the concert, but you got your if you're a head level above everyone else, and it's really great at the concert. It's not so good if you're in tight quarters. You always end up bumping your head, and you're always the one that someone says, "Hey, can you get something off the shelf for me?" Yeah, Jordan does look a lot younger than he actually is. I try and wash my jeans periodically so that there's nothing in them. Well, my father always used to kind of, joke about, how tall I was, because even when I was young, I was getting taller than he was. And he would point out that his grandfather was 5 feet tall, his dad was 5'6", that he was 6 feet tall. And if I kept the pattern up, I was going to be very, very big. I didn't quite make the 6'6", but I was still, 4 or 5 inches taller than he was. Your brother and you were banned from 7-Eleven from stealing candy. No, I never got caught. Hey, Megs, how's it going in Australia? Kind of early in the morning there, isn't it? What's it like in the future? Yeah, that gets tiring on the shoulders after a while, though. I know I have a problem just standing up, just with my back. My back doesn't like to be standing a very long time, so you think it's obvious when the shirt is packed with candy. Okay, so we're talking one of those incidents like from Animal House, right? Where you got a sweater and it's all tucked in and you got meat sticking out of the side of it. And yeah, yeah, you overdid it a little bit, I think. 2:30 in Canada. Okay, so you're basically on the East Coast then, because it's 2:30 on the East Coast here in the United States too. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to work. You know, I've I feel a little guilty with this company because they hire me and then they go into a shutdown and then I end up going into quarantine and you know so I just got to really get back there now and buckle down and you know really show them why it is they hired me. You know, because it hasn't been the best first 4 weeks. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, yeah. I'm not even. I don't really even have cabin fever. It's just you know because I mean I can go out. It's just I like to be productive, and you know I just finally got to the point where I'm earning some paychecks again, and now I'm not being able to be productive. So I'm really looking forward to going back. No, actually, I drove by my company a couple days ago to check on that, and as of 2 days ago, you know they're still operating. So there were a lot of cars in the parking lot. So they haven't shut down. Yeah, you're right, VNA. I can't complain either. I mean, I've got it pretty good. Yes, I'm off of work temporarily, but I'm being paid to be off of work. So, you know, they're taking good care of me, and you know that's the reason. That's a big part of the reason also why I want to, you know, show them that they made the right decision and get back to work and become profitable for them. Oh, I know. I don't feel guilty. You know, I don't feel guilty about it. I just, you know, I'm trying to see the things from the perspective of my boss, and now they're paying me to do nothing. So yeah, you're right. They asked me to do that, and they made that decision themselves. But still, you know, I want to get to the point where I'm productive again. You know, you know when I was right out of high school and in college and stuff like that, I had a lousy work ethic. I would have, you know, would have loved to just sit at home and do nothing. But now that I've kind of developed a work ethic, you know, it just bugs me being idle. No, no, I agree. It isn't my fault. I don't believe that for a second. I just, like I said, I feel for my boss and you know they're paying me and they're not getting anything from me right now. So it's still pretty crazy in the grocery stores. I went yesterday to the grocery store and there's still a lot of stuff that's not there, but they're kind of slowly getting a handle on it too. I know I checked like the cheese section about a week ago, and the cheese section was almost virtually picked clean, and they had a pretty good selection of cheese now when I was there yesterday. So I got a little, you know, I love cheddar cheese. I'll just you know chop off a little block of that and just eat it raw, you know. So I do miss that after a while. I did play pinball occasionally, but I never really was into the video games. Even when we got the home gaming consoles and stuff like that. You know, I had like uh, an Atari 1600, that first one that came out that you know played Pong and all the Space Invaders and Pac Man and all that stuff. Then I had a Sega Genesis, and I think that was the last game console I had. Just didn't really keep up with it. Yeah, I love cheese. Yeah, Centipede, that was another one. Dig Dug, what was it? Qbert, the one where you're bouncing around the different squares with the thing that looked like an alien. Yeah, Doom came along a little way afterwards, you know. But yeah, The only reason I can't become a vegan is I like meat. Yeah, I'd love having a bunch of like trees outside my window too. That'd be, that's one of the things, like I said, that I got away from California from because there just isn't a lot of that there, and I love kind of being close to nature. So I hear you on that. That's definitely something I'd like is, yard with a lot of trees and if not a lot of land, so I can plant a lot of trees. You're feeling old because your son's 29th birthday is tomorrow. Imagine how my mom feels having a son who's 55. Lay's jalapeno cheddar chips. Those sound good. Never like playing Call of Duty online because you get killed off in the first second of the game. Yeah, sometimes with those games it helps if you just gotta kind of play them yourself, so you kind of get used to the controls and learn how to do things. But yeah, I hear you on that. No, I don't think the government is paying for my time off. I think it's the company itself. Do I have a favorite cheese? Depends on what I'm eating. I like provolone cheese, like on provolone cheese is great for like on chicken parmesan and spaghetti and that kind of stuff. I like a good sharp cheddar cheese for just general snacking. Swiss cheese is good under certain cases. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that there's a lot of cheeses I like. Mozzarella cheese is great on pizza. I don't think that's a dumb question. How did I name my channel? I left Disneyland. I was a Disney employee, and when I left Disneyland, I was escaping the mouse. It's literally as simple as that. Yeah, Bite's just over there sleeping right now, or staring at the bear, I think. So I think he's literally staring at that bear. Or really screw with his head and make the bear start moving, talking to him. Yeah, like I said, I don't think the government's paying for my quarantine. My company is still operating, so they're I believe they're paying for it themselves. Oh my goodness, guys, being in your 50s is not old. It is when you think of how you felt when you were 30. Yeah, I know what you're talking about with the cheese balls. Yeah, those are pretty good. Those are usually some form of cheddar cheese, and I love cheddar cheese. That sounds like quite a challenge there. That American cheese doesn't measure up. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had Gouda cheese. Their particular reason my parents named me Breck. Yeah, I think they hated me. They wanted me to be teased and laughed at. The thing is, I don't really make a lot of sandwiches. That's I'm not really a sandwich person. If I do get a sandwich, I go to Subway, and even there, I kind of burn myself out on Subway. So, you know, I think my favorite sandwich right now comes from Schlotzsky's. Yeah, if I had a choice, I would have chosen another name. That's just because it was so miserable for me as a child because I got teased about it just relentlessly. Took a long time for me to get to the point where I could even say my own name. I'm still to the point where, if I go to a restaurant or something like that and they say, okay, what's your name? I'll tell them my middle name just because it's easier than going back and forth 12 times trying to make sure they get it right. Ham and cheese. Yeah, ham and cheese. Those two things go together pretty well. They do have Schlotzsky's in California. There used to be, well, actually, there used to be two of them right near where I lived. One of them just in the shopping center right next to me, and one of them a couple of miles away. And my dad loved Schlotzsky's, so we go to Schlotzsky's all the time. And then I didn't remember at the time, although I did read it when I was in the stores, that I didn't make the connection that Schlotzsky's had originally come from Texas. It's a something from out of Austin. I've never run into the issue with Starbucks because I've never been inside of a Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, so you know I just don't have any experience with that. Corned beef, I've had some corned beef that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I saw a bunch of the old Disney movies when I was a kid. I kind of got off of it, at one point, and then I worked at Disney, and that whole thing got poisoned for me, and so yeah, I'm not really into any of the Disney movies anymore. I gave away all my Pixar movies. That was the day I really officially knew it was over between me and Disney, is when I did that. I don't drink tea either, Angela. No, for a while I would get caffeine by drinking sodas, but then I started realizing, what, the caffeine doesn't really do anything for me. I don't seem to get the buzz that everyone else gets from caffeine. It doesn't pep me up, it slows me down. So you remember what I was saying about Jordan, how he comes in and, we go onto each other's channels and mix it up a little bit? Yeah, look who just stopped in. What was the best day of my life? Oh, man. Um, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a while. I was really excited when I got the job at the CD factory the first time. I think that would probably be pretty high up on the list because I had been into CDs since I first heard about them. So when I got a chance to actually go work at one, that was really great. I think it was also a pretty good day just a couple months ago when I got my job that I have now. You know, yeah, leaving Disney. He's right. That's another good one. I'll tell you, that felt good. In fact, I think I did a vlog that day of me driving out of the parking lot after I'd quit. Enjoyed the live stream between you and Amy yesterday, Jordan. That was epic. Yeah, I mean, when I met Jordan, that was pretty cool too. But when I first met Jordan, I didn't really think it would turn into anything. First because we met at a concert and first thing we figured, okay, yeah, we saw each other. That was probably the only time that we were ever going to see each other. But he had invited us to come see his band, and we almost didn't do that. And if we hadn't done that, then probably none of the rest of it would have happened. So, yeah, Mr. Joster. I think we each stir the pot a little bit. We kind of bounce off each other. We had, I had fun kind of interacting with his live stream yesterday, and like I said, he comes in here and asks some off the wall question and takes us in a whole different direction. So, yeah, Josh Channel's still up there. I think Jordan posted a video just in the last week or so. Yeah, it really must have been fate because yeah, I mean none of this stuff, none this channel wouldn't even be happening if it wasn't wouldn't even be happening if it wasn't for Jordan and me getting to know him because I would have never gotten on here and started doing vlogging. I never would have dawned on me. Tell us about when you went to Spain. Yeah, I did that when I was in college. The I was in the orchestra in college and I was studying basically recording engineering at the time, but I was also in the orchestra, and the professor decided that he wanted to take us on a tour of Spain. So we went to Madrid and Barcelona and a couple other places. I didn't really know anything about the country, but it was a lot of fun, and we saw some old cathedrals and toured all that fun stuff. Had a great time. It was a long time ago. I wish I had more pictures of that. There were no digital cameras in those days, so you just had to take the still photos or take the film photos. And how long was I there? We were there for about 2 weeks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think I saw as much as you saw when you were there. You were there. Yeah, I was in. I stayed primarily in Madrid, and we visited Barcelona. But for the most part, like I said, we were performing in different venues there, and so that was the bulk of what we were doing there. But we did have a little chance to wander around and see what was going on. What did I play? When I first started playing in the orchestra in junior high, I started off playing the clarinet, and then at one point, the teacher wanted me to needed somebody to play bass clarinet, and they had one, so they gave it to me, and I played that for a while. And then I got into high school and started playing the baritone saxophone. And yeah, that's basically where I was. Hey, Nibble, how are you? Huh? Amy, you and Amy filmed a movie location that I would have loved to have been to. Yeah, probably. Bleeding gums roll. Yeah, ain't that the truth? I never really had the talent for music though, and so it was one of those things my parents kind of pushed on me. It started with piano lessons when I was in about the third or fourth grade, and didn't really like any of that, and but I think it was just an opportunity for my parents to keep me out of their hair because if I was sitting there playing the piano or practicing the clarinet or something like that, they didn't have to worry about me. And I don't know. They did kind of the same thing with my sister. They forced her into ballet, and she absolutely didn't like that. I remember every day when it was time to go to her ballet lesson that she'd throw a temper tantrum and wouldn't want to go. And oh yeah, because everybody knows the one thing you do if you want to keep your kid from turning into a nerd, you make them play the clarinet and the piano. Because no nerds ever did that. Yeah, and I mean, you got to remember, my sister was like, 6 or 7 at this point. So the last thing she wanted to do is, stop playing with her friends and go out and do ballet moves for an hour. But like I said, I think my parents kind of thought that they wanted to have us be cultured and all that. And it's like, yeah, none of that took. My sister is not into ballet now in any way, shape, or form, and I don't play any musical instruments. So I don't think I would have done that either, Jordan. But there were things that I enjoyed doing. I had some, I enjoyed hanging out with my friends, and I was really big into playing with Lego and stuff like that. Even then, I like building things. Oh, definitely better to be a dork than a nerd. That was a good time to learn the harmonica. Yeah, I don't know. Not really into that either, I think. Yes, I am the oldest kid. I have one sister and she's about 3 years younger than I am. I should get a ukulele. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're really going for the nerd thing, I got to get an accordion. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing with Lego, and this was before, the kits. You buy the kit, the Lego kits now. It's like, okay, here are all the pieces you need to make this thing. And back when I did it, you just got a box of random pieces and you put it together into whatever you want. You invented whatever you want. You didn't have, okay, it's this thing and this is what you have to make, and that's it. I don't know. What about a banjo? Yeah, that'd be making a statement. I think that'd be more of a statement if I was going to live in Louisiana, though. Yeah, I could easily have become a teacher. That's one of the things I've enjoyed doing. And every job I've had, I've always been to a position where I was training other people, and that was something I really enjoyed doing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about polka music. That's maybe not my thing. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking when I made the Louisiana references. I was making a Deliverance reference. Dueling banjos. You need to get a banjo and a harmonica. Yeah, you can play them both together because you can get those little neck strap things that hold the harmonica out, and you can play it and play your harmonica at the same time. Yeah, well, you see how Jordan and I kind of play off each other. I'm a good straight man. Yeah, you're right. Once I get into a house, I'll be able to sit on the porch with a banjo and a harmonica. Oh, usually once I have you guys here, you know, you guys will stay. Sometimes you'll bounce back and forth between two live streams, but do we have a troll on here? I don't see any trolls. I could have it worse than a cow, huh? I have actually been thinking about getting a couple of chickens so I can get some eggs out of that. You know, Beth's sister has a couple of chickens, and they're getting eggs pretty regularly now. There's a funny T-shirt with people paddling canoes saying says "Paddle faster, I hear banjos." Yeah, I hear you. I do expect to go back to work as of this coming Thursday. I drove by the place a couple days ago, and there's people there, and so I know the place is still open. Um, and I haven't heard anything to the contrary yet. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll probably end up talking to my boss, on Tuesday or Wednesday just to make sure everything's on track here. But I'm making it through my 14-day quarantine, and there's no sign that anything's wrong. I don't have any symptoms. I feel fine, and looking forward to going back to work. Yeah, right. Fresh eggs would be great. I haven't heard anything about car sales and realtors, but I'm definitely going to have the need for a realtor. It's been funny. I told you that I was talking to somebody about getting my taxes done this year, and it actually took them 2.5 days to get back to me. I ended up actually going back into the office yesterday to try and figure out what was going on because it had been 2 days since I dropped the stuff off, and I was told, I'd get a telephone call from that guy shortly because he was just out to lunch at the time. Well, 2 days had gone by and nothing happened. So I went back there and I ended up getting a call from him yesterday afternoon. And apparently, according to him, even the paperwork that I brought in is under quarantine. So he's not even going to be able to touch it until a week passes by. So won't even be able to start working on this until um, middle of next week. And I was telling him, okay, well, I'm off of work right now because of quarantine, not because I'm sick, but just because, the company doesn't want to take any chances. And I go back to work on Thursday. So if you're ready to start working on Wednesday, I can meet with you. But other than that, you'll have to wait till next week. But we might just end up doing a lot of it on the telephone. I kind of told him what the deal was, because it's a little weird this year. I didn't have a lot of regular income from work because I didn't work much of last year. But I had the profits from the house, and I want to protect that. And I also have some vlogging expenses and stuff like that, and wanted to deal with that, and some things hopefully I can deduct like my moving expenses and all that fun stuff. So I've been kind of keeping track of all that. The guy actually asked me yesterday, do you have anything more than just a box of receipts? And I said, yeah, there's a flash drive in there that has an Excel file on there, and I've been kind of keeping track of all the expenses. So, it's in there. It's pretty easy to follow. But I don't know. We'll see. I got to keep all those receipts though, just in case. But yeah, can you believe it? They quarantined my paper. Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about what to expect, and it sounds like the guy's talking about me probably having uh, to pay about 50 grand this year in taxes. He did tell me one thing that I thought was good news, and that is, at least on the federal level, I can take 250,000 out of that money that I got from the house, and so that'll cut tax burden quite a bit. Now, he wasn't sure if that applied to California either, and he was thinking probably does because they probably do things the same way as the federal does. And I was thinking, no, this is California. If California can find some way to get more money out of you, they're going to do it. And if copying what the federal does takes money away from them, they're not going to let that slide. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it's going to be Wednesday before I can you know, even begin working on it. But I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Well, you talk about so many people quarantined together. The divorce lawyers are going to be essential. It's funny. I was seeing a cartoon on the internet a couple days ago. It was a boy and his dad talking to each other, and and he was asking why was my sister named Paris? And the father said, well, because that's where we conceived her. Uh, and then the father said, so yeah, I hope you understand quarantine. But bum. Yeah, well, when it comes to buying the house, I'm hoping that I can pay cash for it, so there won't be any of that, any of that nonsense. It'll be a lot easier here. Yeah, I have. I've gotten actually two paychecks. I got one yesterday, and I got one a couple weeks ago. So it's nice to be getting money again. The paycheck that came yesterday went direct deposit, so obviously I got that punched in correctly. That's always a worry. You tell them, hey, send this money to this account, but you punch in one number wrong, and all of a sudden someone else is getting your money. Yeah, that's what I really want to look for. I want land, a big piece of property. Yeah, well, you're right about capital gains, and I'll look at that, and the tax consultant, he'll get that all figured out for me. Right now, don't I wish I had a house for woodworking? Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. You know, be a lot more exciting than sitting around this place. No, I don't get any travel pay because I don't do any traveling. I don't know. One of the questions they asked me when I interviewed is, if I would be willing to travel. So it might happen at some point, but um, you know, it's not going to happen this early because I don't really have anything to contribute. At this point. Oh, Angela got another subscriber. She's 172 now. Yeah, if anyone's on here not subscribed to Angela's channel, is called the Ange Endeavor. She's 172 subscribers. Let's see if we can get her to 175 before the end of the vlog or before the end of the live stream. I'd originally planned on this being a 1 hour one, but we're an hour 20 already. So, yeah, I don't know about the first time selling a house, no tax thing. The tax consultant didn't seem to know anything about that, but I'm going to kind of just let him do it. Like I said, there's a bunch of things my father had told me about a year ago that I should keep track of all my moving expenses because I could deduct that. And so I've kept track of all of that. And Jordan told me, that I can, deduct expenses on vlogging. When I go out and do a restaurant vlog, or when I buy something and I need for the channel, that I can deduct that. So I've kind of kept tabs on all that, and it's all going to depend on how much I can deduct. Because if I can deduct all of my moving expenses, that's going to be massive. Because I spent $10,000 or $12,000 just on those stupid pods. And I still kind of laugh at the pods people because they totally blew it when they refused to take responsibility for their mistakes early on. Because they would have probably kept me as a customer. They were making a couple $1,000s a month storing all my stuff in the pods, and that would probably still be going on now. And instead, they refused to take responsibility when they screwed up, and um, I ended up vacating all the pods and moving everything into storage lockers. And that's a far better option, far less expensive. Yeah, see, that's the thought too. You never know because California will do anything it can to try and get as much tax revenue. That was one of the reasons I left. I was just getting tired of getting taxed to death. You know, the, California creates a situation where it's almost impossible to create a job, and then if you're lucky to get one, then they're trying to steal all the money they can. Did I get the pod thing resolved? Yeah, I vacated it and left them behind. Yeah, all I wanted from them was a 1% for every day they were late. And I mean that would have been a one-time fee of maybe $400 or $500. Instead, they gave up what would have turned out to be a year of rental on two pods, because one of them I used to fill up the apartment, but the other two pods, they would have been still storing that today and making money on that. So whatever, they blew it. Can I sue them? I don't know. Maybe it'd be a difficult case though, because at that point, they're gonna try and convince me that I didn't tell them to do anything, or I didn't do anything enough. And it's like at that point, I just wanted to be done with them. And like I said, I think that the best punishment they got was that they lost me as a customer, and that I sit there and badmouth them online in front of my 3,100 subscribers. Because I mean, let's face it, you go look at my playlists. I got a Pods People playlist where you can go run through the whole thing and see all the mistakes and all the dumb things they did. Now, well, they offered me what $10 a day or something, some insulting uh, value, because I had to, for having to go out to eat every day and have to sleep on the floor and stuff like that, and not have any clothes and any of that stuff. Yeah, that was their deal. So no, we never really worked out a deal. I just kind of broke off contact and won't do any business with them again. And we'll recommend that everyone follow my lead. Right, fight? Yeah, you'd never do anything with pods, would you? And of course, second bite starts making noise and nibbles out here too. So there's the nibble, and there's the bite. Haven't seen you guys in a little bit, so they both ran upstairs for a minute. That's the kitties. Okay, that's enough for now. Because you're fat. Yes, you are. You're fat. You're fat. You're both fat. Let's see. What did I miss here while I was fattening up my cats? Yeah, I've learned that talking to the higher ups, they aren't really interested in that kind of thing. Like I said, the best response I think was just to stop doing business with them. You know, there's and the sad thing is there's so many parts of the company that are great. It's a great company. It's got great concept. And for the most part, most of the people I met, were great people. The people that delivered and picked up the pods for me were great people. The guy that ran the storage warehouse down in Temple, I got to know him a few times. He was really nice, very helpful. I'd call him the night before and say, "Hey, I'm coming down to get my pod and pull some stuff at it." And boom, I'd get there in the morning and he'd already have it down and off in a nice little shady area where I could just pull my truck up to it. And, it's just too bad, it gets blown away by stupid people on the phone who just don't care. So whatever, their loss. Well, the Queen has the virus now. I heard that Charles had it. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't surprise me that happened. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything either. I mean, I don't know. Let me look, see if anyone says anything here. Well, it's been a while since I've looked at the internet on this. Oh, great! Just after they're telling everyone that your pets can't get coronavirus. I'm seeing a headline: Cat becomes the first feline to test positive for coronavirus. I don't know how you're feeling. You've been quarantined though for the last 13 years, so I think you're going to be fine, right? Practicing your social distancing. Yeah, I didn't see anything when I looked at the news either, so that may just be a rumor. I heard about Prince Charles having it. Yeah, I'd heard the CDC was saying that, there were a lot of people apparently that were bringing their dogs and cats into the pound to have them put down because they were afraid they were going to get the virus from it. And the CDC was saying something effective. Yeah, you can't get it from your dog or cat. But I don't know. Then we see stuff like this, so I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It may be fake news. Your vet had to post to tell people not to put antibacterial things on their paws. Yeah, I suppose not. If you had a cat that's eating that, that's probably not the best thing in the world. Yeah, well, these two don't ever have any access to other kitties, so I think they're pretty safe. Yeah, I think you're right, Kathy. It's probably fake news, or else it would be all over the news. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a 1 hour one, and we come back later, but I think we're just going to go for 2 hours, and then I can kind of spend the rest of the day figuring out what I want to vlog. Yeah, I saw that somebody posted that on Jordan's live stream yesterday that Adam's stuck in Florida. But I don't know. It sounds to me like maybe he went there intentionally, because he's from Florida, right? He's got like family there and stuff like that. So he probably just went there to be there. Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid people out there. I told you a couple days ago about a rabbit I had as a kid. I worked at a vet right out of high school, and somebody brought in this big, beautiful white rabbit with pink eyes, and they wanted to have him put down because they didn't want him anymore. And it's like I sat and looked at that, and the first day I worked at the vet, first day out of the door, my father said, "You aren't going to be bringing any animals home with you. You're going to leave them all there." And I broke that rule. I adopted that rabbit, and that rabbit was a good pet. He lived in the backyard for the rest of his life, and self-trained himself on a litter box. I don't know. Maybe he was an indoor rabbit at some point, and somebody else had done it. But I just put a litter box out there, and he started using it. So either he figured it out himself, or had been trained by someone else to do that. But what's the point? You have a rabbit. Why wouldn't you find somebody that would take it? Somebody would love to have a rabbit. That was a beautiful rabbit. But that's just people sometimes. People, sorry, I hate to say it, but people suck sometimes. Yeah, they taste great. Oh man. Yeah, sorry, I got a twisted sense of humor, so things like that make me laugh. I'd never do that, but still, I can laugh at some pretty disturbing things. Hey, Bite, you got anything you want to add? Huh? Or are you just waiting for the kitty treats again? Yeah, I see Nibble too. She's up there on the first step, and the second she hears the kitty treats, and down she comes. All right, let's coax her into camera view. You gotta come over here, Nibble. No kitty treats if you don't come into camera view. Everybody wants to see your pretty face. Try and face her so you can see her a little bit here. She is such a pretty little kitty. Yes, she is. It's my little girl. Come on, Nibble. Oops, dropped it. That was my fault. I dropped it that time. You almost took half my finger with that. I think you got up to the second knuckle in my finger. You almost pushed my finger down your throat, dude. You're gonna get it. Just chill. I get the feeling they're part frog because they want to just lunge at it and get it real quick, like a frog flicking its tongue to get something here. Catch it by surprise. Yeah, you're right. I'm with you, Angela. I trust animals over people any day. Oh, a couple birds flew by the window, and both the cats are staring at it now. It's kind of funny. Even caught my attention. Yeah, both the cats are staring at the windows here. I don't think you can see either of them, but oh, there's Bite a little bit. But yeah, they were like a couple birds flew by the window, and they're both staring at the window now, hoping to come back. Did I find a bunch of cat toys under the stuff when you moved your furniture out of your old place? You have no idea. Holy cow! I never realized I'd gotten them that many kitty toys. But I used to buy those little like leather mice with the leather tails, and you could buy like five of them in a pack, and they're filled with catnip. And I'd pass those things out, and they'd eat the tail off of them in the first 5 minutes, and then bat them around for a while, and they'd end up back at end up under the couch and under the chairs and stuff like that. So yeah, there was all sorts of that. Stink bugs are back. Okay, wow, haven't run into that yet. Thing that bugged me the most was the infestation of the crickets last year. No, the storm that's probably hitting Tennessee right now blew through Waco this morning, and it didn't really drop a whole lot for us. Are they good mousers? I don't think they would be. They've never encountered a mouse, and their inclination would be to play with it, and they wouldn't. So no, I don't think they'd be good mousers. Yeah, I've always loved animals. I've always had some sort of a pet in my life. Early on, I think the first pet I ever had was like a guinea pig when I was like in third or fourth grade, and there's never been a point in my life where I didn't have some sort of animal in my life. They're just a big part of my life. And as far as I'm concerned, there are no ugly animals. There are no gross animals. I used to from time to time possums would come down in my neighborhood uh, and end up in my backyard because they like the water in the pond and they like the fish in the pond and all that. And a bunch of times I would just catch them and relocate them out of the yard. I didn't want them in the yard eating my fish, but I didn't want to kill them either. So yeah, and let's face it, possums aren't the friendliest looking animals in the world. Yeah, possums just look like big giant rats. I remember one of the times I found a possum in the yard. It was Jaw was over at the time, and Jaw was actually the first one to be aware of it. Apparently, it was out in the yard walking along the far end of the yard, and all of a sudden, Jaw jumped off my lap and ran to the front door and was looking at it. And I said, "Oh, there must be something out there." And looked out there, and he's like, "Yep, there he is." Jaw saw it first. I guess I don't remember a stuffed possum on his couch, but it sounds like something Harry would do. Yeah, I've been known to do the same thing with worms too. You know, worms are good beneficial animals. So I if I found one that was in like kind of a dangerous spot, and I just throw it back into the yard here. Oh, you're right. Possums do have a real sharp teeth and not a very good personality either. Yeah, you definitely don't want to pet them. I had an encounter with one year and a long time ago. Ended up in my backyard. I'd seen it a couple times, but hadn't been in a place where I could catch it. And I ended up one night. I had like a big box that had fish food in it, and it was a box like that, and I reached my hand inside of it without even thinking, and there was a possum in there. And the second I got in there, the thing clamped onto my hand, and I knew exactly what had happened because I'd seen the possum just the night before, so I ended up you know, I maintained my senses well enough to capture the possum because I figured, okay, well, if it has rabies, I need to know that. So I got it transferred into a cat carrier, and then went off to the emergency room just to get myself treated. Um, then it turned out it was nothing. I mean, they had to put the animal down because that's the only way you can check them for rabies, but it didn't have it, and so I actually ended up talking to the person from vector control and asked him, how often do, possum bites actually result in rabies? And she didn't have a number for me, but she called me back about an hour later and said that, in the last 100 years, there have been two cases. So um, from now on, I guess if one bites me, I'm just going to, we'll just continue to catch it and re-release it and do that kind of stuff. Where did I get my YouTube channel name from? Now, you're the second person that's asked me that one today, Paul. I used to work at Disneyland, and when I left Disney, that's why I escaped the mouse. It was really as simple as that. You don't have rabies there, that's a good thing. Yeah, I guess it isn't really that much of an issue here either. But I didn't know anything about it at the time, and it was funny because when I went into the emergency room, I actually brought the possum with me because I didn't know if they could do something about it or what. And they said, no, no, we don't want that. We don't want that gross thing in here. Take that out of here. And so I ended up calling vector control the next day. Hi, Black Dot. How are you doing? Yeah, I guess I have heard that there's a few countries that really don't have a rabies infestation. I would think it would be like weather or something, but I don't know. I don't know what the reason for it is. I'm guessing one of the reasons, one of the places that probably doesn't have any is like Antarctica or something like that, just because there aren't really that many things down there living there. I don't know what he sees, but he is fixated on the window right now, or was at least in the. So there must be a bird out there that he sees. Now he knows we're staring at him. I don't know why it looks so dark. I think it's just because the sun from or the light from outside is just kind of washing everything out. Have I ever seen Mickey Mouse? Oh yeah, I saw Mickey Mouse all the time, but I was at Disneyland, not Disney World. Disney World is in Florida. Disneyland is in California. and that was where I worked, was at Disneyland. Oh yeah, I ran into Mickey a lot. You can't help, I worked in the parades there, so almost every parade had Mickey Mouse in the parade at some point. So I knew Mickey Mouse pretty well. Mickey Mouse, Goofy, all of the Pixar characters. I'm good friends with Buzz Lightyear. I got a picture of myself. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I've got a picture of myself on Facebook with Buzz Lightyear. Uh, Finding some of this stuff on photos. There it is. Albums. It's probably a profile picture, wasn't it? Hope I'm not making you guys all bored here watching me look at my cell phone. Yeah, there's a picture of me and Buzz Lightyear. Yeah. So I knew Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear is a personal friend of mine. I have seen a few lizards out here, and the cats knew about them too because there were lizards in California in my yard, so they were aware of those too. But like I said, I heard bird chirping outside the window, so I'm guessing they were probably something standing up there on the branch. Oh yeah, I knew Sully too. I'm good friends with Sully from the Monsters Inc. movies. Yeah, I don't think that's the Mickey they were talking about though in that song. I said I keep seeing movement out of the corner of my eyes. You hear that? Somebody's got a lot of something to say out there. I see weird stuff at Disney. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of interesting things happen. There are a lot of really like cool things that happen when you're there, like after hours and stuff like that. We had a couple of. I used to work on a show at Disneyland called Phantasmic that took place on Tom Sawyer's Island after dark. Well, we got to know some of the wildlife that lived there, and there was a pair of Canadian geese that were born on the island and just basically stayed there. And usually geese are pretty aggressive and mean and violent and vicious birds. They'll chase you around, but these guys have been around with humans for so long that they actually knew those of us that worked on the island, and we got to get one-on-one contact with them, and we could feed them right out of our hand, and they were really really cool. Then they took off and flew north or flew south or something like that, and never saw them again. Yeah, I think of San Angelo's joke. Let's see, what was it here? Oh yeah, I've ever fought with Mickey over a piece of cheese? No. No, honestly, have not done that. I had the biggest spiders out there too. That was really cool. Found praying mantises from time to time. Yeah, there were a few actors and actresses that came through. A lot of times, somebody would say, "Oh, look, that's somebody over there," and it's like I wouldn't even know who that is. But I saw John Voight in the park once, and one day, I guess when I was there, Johnny Depp was on property, and they actually dressed him up as Captain Jack Sparrow and actually put him in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. And he was like talking to people as they'd go by, and that was kind of cool. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe that was like a mockingbird or something like that. No, the cats don't get table scraps. I don't do that. Never from the beginning. About the only time they ever get anything people food is I open up a can of tuna. And I'll pull out what I want and I'll leave a little bit in there. And I'd actually like to share it with both of them, but this guy steals it all, doesn't he? Don't you? You don't share with your sister at all, do you? It's all about you. Any fights between the characters? That would be classic. No, I never saw any of that though. Do they go crazy when I do the tuna? This guy does. He'll be, second he hears me opening up the can, he'll be down in a second and yelling at me. He's like, "Give me some, give me some." But he chomps it up real quick before Nibble can get any, and then that's the end of it. Yeah, I think if you, I think there were a number of people like shot video of Johnny Depp when he was in there. I bet you if you go on, bet you could search it on YouTube and find video of it because it literally was him. They dressed him up just like Jack Sparrow, and he was just in there. I guess so. They must have taken because the area they put him in was the area right. If you're familiar with the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. I don't know if it's different in Florida. It probably is. But if you're familiar with the one in Disneyland, kind of in the middle of the ride, you go through an area where you got the pirate ship battling with the fort, and they're shooting the cannons back and forth at each other. Then you kind of go around the corner, and then there's Jack Sparrow is interrogating somebody, and pulling them in and out of the well and stuff like that. And I guess they pulled that animatronic Jack Sparrow out of there and replaced it with the real thing. It must be pretty easy to do that. It's probably just a matter of disconnecting it from the floor and moving them, but I never thought about that. Yeah, I've heard of like school mascots getting into it, and I think a lot of times, it's all in fun, but I think sometimes it does get real. Yeah, I think that's pretty common with cats. That they go crazy when they hear the or when they hear the can opener. Just because, and it's only if they've ever gotten anything from that. Our pets aren't stupid. They associate sounds with certain things. And so when they hear that can opener, if they get the food, if they get tuna every time that happens, they just learn that's what the can opener means. Just like this sound means kitty treats. And that means that Nibble's going to come running down the stairs like he just did right now. Yeah, I was still planning on doing this as a one hour live stream today, and then like about 2 minutes before I was going to pull the plug on it, Jordan came in and it's like, okay, well I don't want to end it while he's here because everyone loves to talk to Jordan. So yeah, I don't know. We may do 1 hour ones in the future. We may do 2 hour ones in the future. It just may be one of these things that changes from day to day. may go back to doing two tomorrow. I don't know. You're right. I mean, there's angles to both sides of it because sometimes getting it out of the way first is easier, but on the other hand, it's a little harder to do. 2 hours straight. Uh, Breaking it up into two parts, makes it a little bit more manageable, but then you got to do two of them. So, there's angles to both sides. So, the main reason I think I went to doing the two single-hour live streams is because I wanted to give people who aren't on the light side of the planet right now a little chance to maybe participate too. And maybe the way I can do that and still keep the 2 hour live streams is maybe just do some that are later, do them at different times of the day, do a 2 hour one at noon one day and then do it at 6 p.m. the next day or something like that. I don't know. We're just kind of making this up as we go along, and I'm just doing it day by day. So, but yeah, we're up to almost 2 hours now. So we'll go for a few more minutes. Anyone else have any interesting questions? We also have more people here today, I think, than we often do. Lately I've been kind of getting 30 people or something for these. Usually I get 50 or 60 or 70 when I do one once a week. So I think, at this point, maybe people are getting a little tired of me. Uh, but, there's a few of you here that are here every day. And so, that's, that's great that that happens. And I like that there's so many people here. So, I feel like I'm doing something that is benefiting others. And that's really what this is all about right now. House jail. Yeah, ain't that the truth? I haven't even figured out what I'm going to do for a live stream, but like I said, a lot of times what I'm doing is just trying to go out and do something active outside. Just for those of you who are stuck inside, that's no fun right now. That's good. I'm glad I entertain you while you cook. Apparently, I entertain some people when I cook too. So I thought about buying an air fryer. No, no, that hasn't been really high on the list. Yeah, that's cool that you're doing that for your church, Jeff. That's awesome. Gotta reach out to those people who are kind of alone right now. That's sort of the logic behind what I'm doing here too. I'm glad to see that you guys come back every day because I'm kind of a boring person to begin with. So hanging out with me for 2 hours a day for 14 days straight, I would think you'd be over me by now, but I guess not. You keep coming back, so either you like something I'm doing or you're just like a masochist or something like that. When I get bored, I could show you how dead the city is. Yeah, I honestly I haven't been that much into town. There have been a few times where I've been out on the road and it's like, yeah, there aren't a lot of cars out here, but maybe that'd be a good thing to do. Let's go walk through downtown Waco today and just see what's going on. It's a Saturday, so you'd think there'd be some people out. Yeah, I know. It's my self-deprecating humor. I guess I know you guys have told me enough times that you come and watch me because you like me. So, that's great. I appreciate that. That means so much to me. And, I get a lot out of it too. So it means a lot to me that people watch me all the time. And and give me such kind thoughts and are thinking about me, when something goes on personal in my personal life and keeping me in your thoughts and prayers. That means a lot. So yeah, how are we doing, Angela, in terms of subscribers? You posted a number a minute ago. 173, okay. And I see Joey just subscribed, so that should get you up to 174. We got one more in us, people. Let's see if we can get her to 175. That was kind of my goal today. Someone else go subscribe to Angela who hasn't already. Her channel's called the Ange Endeavor. You can see her on the screen here because she's posting pretty regularly. Just click on her name, and that should take you to her channel, and just subscribe. Let's get her to 175. Her channel's pretty good. Well, I am going to do cooking vlogs again. I'm just reluctant to do a whole lot right now because it's hard to find ingredients in the store. Now, if it's something simple or something that I have around the house already, then you know what? Cooking vlogs are a good way to go. I like doing them, and they seem to be very popular with the viewers. So, something, keep sending them in. Just all that means is when we get to the point where things are plentiful in the grocery store again, I'll just have some catching up to do. So, yeah, and in addition to that, yeah, we got Jeff Kidd's vlog too. Kids smoking in the backyard. Go check out that one too. Okay, so there's more reason to go after Jeff because that he's only got 26 right now. So I'm guessing a whole bunch of you here aren't subscribing to him. So yeah, let's boost him up too. Let's see if we can get him rise his numbers up a bit. Oh, I know Amy was joking when she was talking about starting a cooking channel with Jordan. I know that was like when Jordan came in here a little earlier. One of the things I mentioned is one of the reasons that we have fun with each other is because we kind of play off each other and kind of go into each other's live streams and kind of stir up trouble. And that's what that was to with Jordan. Because if you actually read the comment I said when I said to Jordan, "I'm never speaking to you again," I finished it up with a laughing emoji. So Jordan knows it's a joke. Everyone knows it's a joke. Jordan and I are friends. It's going to take a lot more than Amy starting a cooking vlog to change that. Plus the fact so much of the stuff that I do is stuff I've learned from him that if he wants to borrow something from me, who am I to say no? All right, well, we are at the 2 hour mark now, so I think I am going to pull the plug on this one. We'll definitely come back tomorrow, so check in tomorrow. I don't know, I might do one a little bit later in the day, just like I said. So the reason for splitting them up into two parts was so that people on the other side of the world can get a chance to check in too. So I don't know, I might do one later in the day tomorrow, or I might do it at the same time. I don't know, just kind of keep ears open and we'll see what happens. So anyway, I think that's all I have today. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Good night, everyone.